What's going on, folks? Blake from New Vision Security Services. And today's inspirational message is Endgame. What is your endgame? Whatever it may be, if it's buying a house, your job, RVing, going full time, taking advantage of people, talking behind people's backs, covering the entire gamut. When it's all said and done, what do you think you will have accomplished in the end? Especially those that are operating without or outside of Yeshua and Yahweh. How far do you think you're going to get in whatever it is you're doing without them? Because understand something, evil will set you up to make you think that you are successful or you are going to be successful. But when heaven steps in, you can see just how fast things fall apart. If you know someone in your life that has happened to, sit down and talk to them about it. And see if they're upfront and honest with you about where they went wrong and how they went wrong and what was their way of trying to fix it or remedy the situation. Right? But I'm here to tell you today that no matter what you may think, none of our lives, none of our success, none of being blessed to wake up every day is possible without our Savior, Yeshua. And first reason why I say that is because understand that it's written in the scriptures that no one gets to the Father, Yahweh, right, without going through the Son, Yeshua. And there are some people that think because they use the name God or think that they can just skip the Savior, our Savior, the one who died on the cross for us, and just bypass him and go straight to the Father. You are mistaken, and it is written that you cannot do that. It is not possible, and they're not going to let it happen. You have to go through the Son first. So, but let's stay on track here with Endgame. So let's look at Philippians Chapter 2, right? Let's start at Chapter 2. Philippians 1, Chapter 2. All right? If then there is any encouragement in Messiah, if any comfort of love, if any fellowship of spirit, if any affection and compassion, make my joy complete by being of the same mind, having the same love, one in being and of purpose, doing none at all through selfishness or self-conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourselves. Each one should look out not only for his own interests, but also for the interest of others. For let this mind be in you, which was also in Messiah, Yeshua, who being in the form of Elohim, did not regard equality with Elohim a matter to be grasped, but emptied himself, taking the form of a servant, and came to be in the likeness of men. And having been found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, death even of a stake. Right? The Messiah humbled himself. He understood that, which is why he sets the stage for us and gives us the instruction. Right? Think bigger than yourself. self platforms don't work. Your own end game to pump yourself up and be this miraculous whatever, right? I don't know, miraculous worker at work, miraculous YouTube channel, miraculous, I don't know, whatever, right? He's saying, hey, make it not about yourself, but about fellow mankind. Do not put yourself, do not make the end game, let's say that. Do not make your end game about yourself. But there's a lot of that going on today, right? Look at me. Look what I've accomplished. Look at this. Oh, I'm here. Check this out. Do this. Don't do that, right? It's like Simon Says. Ain't nobody, I can't say that. I don't have no time for that, right? Because at the end of the day, my end game has to be serving my master, serving my Savior, bigger than myself, right? But hey, let's look at Luke. Let's go to Luke. Luke chapter 10. Luke chapter 16, verse 10. Luke chapter 16, verse 10. Right? Now let's check this out. Luke chapter 16, verse 10. He who is trustworthy in what is least is trustworthy also in much. And he who is unrighteous in what is least is unrighteous also in much. If therefore you have not been trustworthy in the unrighteous mammon, who shall entrust to you the true? And if you have not been trustworthy in what is another man's, who shall give you what is your own? No servant is able to serve two masters, for either he shall hate the one and love the other, or else he shall cling to the one and despise the other. You are not able to serve Elohim and Mammon. Right? You can't serve two masters. You can't serve heaven and you can't serve hell. They're saying it. You can only serve one master. One. And you have to make that decision. A lot of people are walking that fence, right? They over here on one day, then they over here, and oh, thank God for this, and oh, listen. He knows your heart. Regardless of what may be coming out of your mouth, he knows your heart. So be careful what you say, because you're being held accountable for what you say. You know, it's right here, folks. If you're not trustworthy of something minute, there's no way you can be trustworthy of something huge. Right? Why do you think you got people that are, I say they're all over the radar, right? Today they're doing this, tomorrow they're into that, they're trying this, they're trying that. Oh, I'm doing this new. Oh, that's new. Oh, I want to check this out. Oh, follow this, do that. They doing so much for so little reward. Just watch them. They are all over the radar trying to do everything and pull everybody into whatever it is they're doing to make it the next best thing since sliced bread. And the truth is, it's not. And a lot of people, a lot of you may have someone that's doing this in your life, and you know it, you see it, but you won't pull them aside and say something. Why not? If you know someone that's all over the radar, that's trying a whole bunch of huff and fluff, and you know it's just a hot mess, you got to tell them it's a hot mess. Somebody eventually is going to have to tell them. Or if somebody's not going to say something and it's just going to fall apart on its own. And then people are going to be like, oh, that's a shame. But I'm just saying, right? Endgame. If your endgame, the foundation of your endgame is not set on Yeshua, it ain't going to work. I don't care what you do. And for those of you out there that are the type of people that take advantage of someone, spread lies, try to form these little groups and stuff against someone and doing all these things, by that same account, you will be judged. So be careful of what you do. And those of you that have spiritual eyes, okay, if you see something ain't right, and something is not going good with your spirit, do not further entertain the foolishness. Why are you entertaining something that you know goes against the scriptures and our Savior? Why are you entertaining it? I'll use this platform. Just unsubscribe. You don't want to hurt their feelings. Here's the thing about feelings. Would you rather hurt their feelings or have the Savior turn away from you? Think about it. Who's more valuable? Them or him? I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. Let's look at James chapter 4. Let's look at James chapter 4. Here we go. James chapter 4, verse 1. Verse 1. Now, and this is for the people who do a bunch of squabbling, right? Even behind closed doors, thinking that people don't notice or see things, right? Everything has a telltale sign, but I'm not going to get into that. Anywho, here we go. Where do fightings and strivings come from among you? Do they not come from your pleasures that battle in your members? You desire and do not have. You murder and are jealous and are unable to obtain. You strive and fight and you do not possess because you do not ask. You ask and do not receive because you ask evilly, in order to spend it on your own pleasures. Self. That person, their end game is self. Oh, I want to, look at me, I want to be like this. What did he just say? He ain't going to give it to you because he already knows you're gonna fluff yourself up, right? The big thing that might be intended for you, the big thing from the kingdom of heaven, okay? Not the small thing you got right now, but you probably meant to have, blessed to have the big thing, but they're not going to give you the big surprise. They're going to let you take all your self-joy, right? Your self-righteousness and your self, right? Look at me, and this little thing, because they already know you can't handle the big one. Because you're not going to show the world where it really came from. You're going to take all the credit for it. Says it right here. You ask and do not receive because you ask evilly in order to spend it on your own pleasures. I'm just saying, right? John chapter 15. Let's look at John. We coming to an end here. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. All right. John chapter 15, verse 7. John chapter 15, verse 7. If you stay in me and my words stay in you, you shall ask whatever you wish and it shall be done for you. In this my Father is esteemed, that you bear much fruit, and you shall be my taught ones. As the Father has loved me, I have also loved you. Stay in my love. If you guard my commands, you shall stay in my love, even as I have guarded my Father's commands and stay in his love. Folks, I'm telling you. Listen, he's saying it right here, right? Stay in him and let his scriptures stay in you. Let the scriptures be your purpose. And when you do that, you shall ask whatever you wish, and it shall be done for you. But you got to live by this. The temporary things that you have, that's what they are, okay? They're temporary things, temporary happiness. They can be here today and gone tomorrow. But his love and the things that he has intended for you will stay when you glorify him. When you glorify him. You know, I'm just telling you. Endgame. What is your endgame? If your endgame ain't here, it's a wrap. That's all I don't care what you doing. I don't care how much people think because they have a bunch of money or money saved up or investments, excuse me, that they're on cloud nine. But let me remind you of something. Remember when that stock market crash happened? There were people jumping out of the windows of these business buildings because they just lost everything. In a matter of a minute, the market crashed. They lost everything. They were so devastated that they could not process in their minds to go home and tell their families that everything that they gambled on, because that's what it was a gamble. It's like the lottery, right? It's a gamble. Fell through. And now they are broke. No house, no cars, no college, no fancy clothes, no whatever it was. They entrusted and invested in mankind thinking that that was going to be the bright future. And I'm here to tell you today that there's going to be another stock market crash. People aren't invested in him. They're invested in what this foundation that mankind has set up, thinking that that's going to be the end all be all. But there's going to be another stock market crash. And once again, all of those investors and investments and money that was set aside and all this stuff, guess what? In a matter of another minute, right? And it's going to happen all over again. People going to be killing themselves because they cannot face what has just happened and don't know how to process it. So be careful of your money platform, thinking that that's the answer. Because if that's your end game, that you're going to stockpile this money and it's going to take care of everything, remember, it can be gone tomorrow too. I'm just saying, right? So let's finish on Romans chapter 2. Romans chapter 2. Therefore, O man, you are without excuse. Everyone who judges, for in which you judge another, you condemn yourself. Right? So for those people that their end game is, they're going to be this mighty person that tells everybody about themselves and, then they go and tell so-and-so and they do all that, right? They don't realize in the scriptures, according to the scriptures, they're condemning themselves. Right? For in which you judge another, you condemn yourself, since you who judge practices the same wrongs. But they're not going to tell you they doing the same wrongs. They're going to be pointing the finger like this, right? Oh, well, no, that was so-and-so. But look, the rest of the fingers are pointing back at themselves, right? when you stick this out, right, you got a couple pointing back at you. I'm just saying, right? And we know that the judgment of Elohim is according to truth against those who practice such wrongs. And do you think, O man, you who judge those practicing such wrongs and doing the same, that you shall escape the judgment of Elohim? You can't escape it, folks. He's the judge and jury. I don't care what you think, what you say, what you do. He's the judge and jury. So you have the opportunity now to rethink your end game. To rethink your end game. Okay? And make a decision. But like I just read to you, you cannot serve two masters. And I don't care what you're saying. It's what he knows is in your spirit. And that's what counts. My prayer for you was that this will soften your heart to make that change. To make that change. To take the step of faith. Let the nonsense go. Let the mess go. Let all of those self things that you've pumped yourself up, right? Thinking that they're the answer. And they're not. All of us know people who physically may be well off, nice, all of these things, right? But a lot of times they don't have love, right? Their marriage may not be the strongest marriage. There's always something missing, is the best way I can put it. Some people who it appears they got it all going on in life, and you know, when you look at the physical things they have, you would think that they're on cloud nine. But there's always something missing, and sometimes they try to pacify that with money, which is why they try to have all of these nice things, right? Because their end game is, I want to have all the top stuff. But the day is coming where I don't care how much money you have, how big your house is, how fancy your car, how big of a fence you got around your property. It's all not going to mean nothing. What's going to matter?
Say a command.
Sorry. What's going to matter is, were you living your life according to Yeshua and how he laid out and intended for your life to be? All that other stuff ain't going to matter. All right? So please pray on it. And I hope that this video helps you to help make a decision to surrender yourself to our Savior so that you can get on a path that he has intended for you, and you can release yourself from the weight of the world. He will lighten the load for you. I promise you. All right? Hey, this is Blake from New Vision Security Services. As always, I pray that you've had a blessed day, week, month, year. Continue striving to please our Savior, and it will pay off in the end. All right? Take care and stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one.